Welcome back to Two Guys in the Outdoors, and we have some guests. This will be our very first, what we're calling a campfire, similar to a deer camp, but we're not at deer camp. We're not at turkey camp. We're just having a campfire. What I would like to do right now, before Jason and I talk, let's have our two guests say a little bit about yourselves, introductions, and tell us what you did this past week in the outdoors. And we will start with Wendy because today is International Women's Day.
Yay!
So hey, congratulations.
Well, good. That's just dumb luck for me. Hi, I'm glad to be here. Thank you for inviting me to join. I am hunter education instructor in Virginia for the last 13 years, boy, time flies, and involved in a lot of the different hands-on workshops and programs that the department does. I'm also the director of public affairs and marketing for the Virginia Hunter Education Association. And I marry my hunting interest and food interest in that I am a culinary instructor at a local community college. So the two things I love the most are food and hunting, and I'm lucky that I can put those two together. What I've done in the last week, our Virginia Department of Wild Resources had an advanced training weekend for instructors, and I am part of the team that teaches the field-to-table deer processing workshops. So I was working all weekend with a bunch of other great instructors, getting some folks up to speed on being able to present processing workshops across Virginia.
Very good, very good. All right, Mike.
My name's Mike Norkus. I am also a Master Hunter Ed instructor and a Master International Bow Hunter Education instructor. Proud to say one of only 4 in the state, of which Mr. Jason Miller is also one, since I recently certified him as that. And that's kind of an honor. But I am retired military, retired civil servant, work part-time in a bow shop now, Dancer Sporting Goods down here in Colonial Heights. And that actually helps supplement my bow hunting habit and my travels to bow hunt. So it's a pretty good gig. I'm enjoying it. This week in the outdoors, I've done, as Wendy stated, being a hunter ed instructor, I am the lead archery instructor for the Department of Wildlife Resources for all the hunter ed instructors in the state. And we conducted a international bow hunter education instructors class. And then I also taught a traditional archery class this weekend, of which Bob was in both of those classes. So hopefully he got something out of that.
Stealing my thunder there.
Oh, it was a blast doing it. We had 2 great classes with a lot of great folks in there. It was a lot of fun. So, but yeah, so that was, and then working in the bow shop. I work today and work tomorrow. So working on getting product out. Where my boss has gone to the shows, so that's starting to come in. So worked on a couple of bows, sold a couple of bows, and got them set up today. So yeah, good stuff.
Very nice.
Glad to be here. Thank you.
Man, it's good when you can put work life and fun life together.
Yeah,
Both have done.
Oh, exactly.
All right, Jason, what did you do in the outdoors?
Well, I spent the weekend at the same location as everybody else here. That I didn't, unfortunately, I didn't get to spend much time outdoors. I was training some new instructors and learning some mentor information this past weekend. But since then, I've spent a little bit of time at my cabin, just getting familiar with the property and just watching the birds and trying to listen for some spring gobbler action. But other than that, that's all I did this week in the outdoors.
Nice. And then myself, of course, I was a part of this. that everybody's been talking about. So yes, I was one of the instructors that went to try to get this advanced skills, and yes, Mike said that I was in his class, and I am now an official instructor for international bow hunters. So that was good. It was, Mike, it was a good class. I felt like I was instructed by an expert. So
Yeah, thank you.
Good.
I got a great team.
So yeah, I as Mike said, I took both the instructor's course as well as the traditional course, picked up quite a bit. So.
And now you'll be on my team.
Yes, I'm on your team anyway. So, but I'll be also on your team for bow hunters piece too. So that's good. And I also fixed my bow, Mike. So that
awesome
piece. So I went by the bow shop here in Dayton, and he just gave me a piece and said, "Here, go put this on there." So I got that all squared away. It's back to par. My Jason, that little mark that was on my cable, it was eating away the serving. So Mike was telling, we were looking at what it was, and I was missing a rubber piece.
Oh, on that stop.
Yeah, rubber bumper.
Yep.
Yeah, so I got that all squared away. So
hey, that's an easy fix.
Yep, it was. It took me every bit of 5 minutes.
Yeah.
But so let's just have a chat. So the biggest thing about our channel here, what we're trying to do, and just like all you guys are doing too, we're trying to help beginners become better hunters, getting out and outdoors, not be afraid and stuff like that. So I'll just pose a question. We want this just to be free flowing conversation, nothing, no real topic. But if you had a brand new person and they said they wanted to come and they want to get out in the outdoors and they want to start hunting, what would you tell them?
Well, actually, it was kind of funny you asked that question, because one of my customers came in today, he'd been hunting one time with a shotgun. He wants to get into bow hunting. And it was like, how do I get started, man? And it's like I told you guys in class, you go to a reputable bow shop that has multiple brands and you shoot different ones. So I had him shoot 3 different bows, and he liked the Bear brand. And so talking him through the process of how to shoot and all that, he had never shot a vertical bow before. And he's well on the way. So he went home with a lot of information today. So he's going to think about, and then said he was going to be back to purchase a bow. So, getting him into a shop to try multiple products, and then once he comes in, we'll get him set up, fitted to him, all that kind of good stuff. And then have him shoot some, and I'll get him dialed in to 20 yards before he even leaves the shop. So
which bow are you kind of leaning for him?
He was looking at a Bear Whitetail Legend.
Oh, okay.
And he shot, we had a few VX3s left over in a Phase 4, one of the new Matthews. He didn't want to shoot a Hoyt, so sorry, Jason.
That's all right. I shoot my own bows now.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, the Jason brand.
Hey, I want to ask y'all a question, because this is something I've been thinking about, and it came up over the weekend. But give me the shortest answer that you can. I'm gonna start with Wendy. How'd you get started hunting?
Through family members. I had been exposed to some firearms use. I was fortunate to go to a high school in Pennsylvania that had a rifle team. Imagine that. We had an indoor range, and I was exposed to that as a teenager and was interested in it, but family then did not have, was not interested. I was living with a single mom. When I married my husband, born and bred Virginia boy, and he had grown up hunting. And so I was receptive to the idea, and he had the knowledge. And so he really was my mentor during my adult onset adventure into hunting. And so I learned a lot from him in a couple of years that we did it together. And then we had twin daughters. And after he settled his nerves and realized that he could do anything with girls that he could do with boys, we explored that outdoor world with our two girls, and it was a wonderful experience. Coming from not doing it at all as a young person to watching our children grow up and having the opportunity to do it from an early age. And so I learned from him, and I learned from them, and then I can't even begin to explain how much more I learned when I got involved in the hunter education community. The instructors in the program have such a wealth of knowledge that I may go to teach something and I learn as much or more than it feels like I've delivered to the students. So it really is it's a growth process the rest of your life. That's what's wonderful about hunting, is that there's always something to learn. And I was fortunate to have family members that were experienced, that brought me up into it.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be and I'm going to try to make a point here in just a moment. But Mike, how about you? How'd you get started?
Mine was pretty easy. I was raised on a farm, so it was a matter of subsistence, to be honest with you. Rabbit hunting, bird hunting, that kind of stuff. But most of my bird hunting is my shooting prowess, as you have witnessed, was with quail and dove out west primarily. And then now that you got me hooked on pheasants and chukar, man, it's like you've created a monster. So, but yeah.
That's good.
But yeah, I did it with my dad and my grandfather primarily. My granddad had beagles, and so I grew up rabbit hunting with dogs and that. And I never really got into the dog hunting here in Virginia. I mean, I've done it. Our club did it for years, and then we haven't done it probably in 10 years at my club. And I've been a member at the club I'm with now for 20 some odd years since I've been in Virginia, 24 years now. So, yeah. But yeah, I was young, like 8 years old when I started hunting with my dad and my grandpa, and then I'd go sit with my grandpa deer hunting, that kind of stuff, and then rabbit hunting. My dad, kind of a funny story, how I learned muzzle control was my dad had a 32-inch goose gun, 12 gauge, old Remington pump that he made me and my brothers tote for about 3 years each before we even get to put a shell in any kind of gun to shoot. So it was like, you're going to learn how to control that muzzle. And you can that gun was taller than I was. So when I was a little guy. So yeah, I learned muzzle control at an early age.
Yeah. Bob, how about you? I know I've heard this story 100 times, but let's hear it again.
I mean, I did go out hunting with my dad and heard a lot of hunting stories from my grandpa, because he used to do like what Mike does a lot. He used to go out west way back in the 20s and 30s, elk hunting and muley hunting and stuff like that. So I heard a lot of stories. But with my family, the only thing I hunted with them was rabbit and squirrels. And then I caught the bug to do the deer hunt. So I took it upon myself. And I would say I'm kind of self-taught with asking a lot of people's questions, people like yourselves. But I have to echo exactly what Wendy said, especially here. I've been blessed enough to live several different states around the country. And of course, I didn't hunt in them because I was chasing a career and chasing kids. But since we moved back to Virginia, and I've gotten into hunting and meeting people like you and getting part of the Hunters Education Program, I'm just in awe. I don't know how many times I've told you, Jason, the hunting community here in Virginia is just amazing. You know, not afraid to share input, not afraid to share stories and give help whenever you ask, and sometimes even when you don't ask, which is okay too. But it's been amazing. This past 2 years or 3 years since I've been back in Virginia, and I've been a part of this, and both on the student side, because I took a bunch of y'all's classes as a student, then I become a hunter's education instructor this past summer, and it's just amazing. So one takeaway that I'd give you on this is, I mean, don't be afraid to ask people.
Well, and that's my point here is, all of us here, got involved at an early age, family members, and right now the people that we get, and I know Wendy and all of us talk to a lot of people that want to start hunting, and they're starting to hunt for a different reason. We started because of tradition or family. It was just a way of life. And I think the new group of hunters that we have coming in, it's not tradition, and it's not a heritage. They don't even have family members. They're starting to hunt because it's a way to provide food, for their family. Taking advantage of the renewable resources that we have here in Virginia. So, I think as a whole, with this whole YouTube channel, we've got to try to reach out to these new hunters, maybe in a different way, because what Wendy loves about it, what Mike loves about it, Bob, what you love about it, what I love about it is not necessarily what they love about it. Yep. They're using hunting as a means of, taking advantage of some of those resources that we have out there. And I think our biggest clientele is that, 24 to early 40s age. Isn't that what you're seeing, Wendy, with some of your registrations for the skills weekend?
Yes, we're getting a lot of young families coming in. Minimum age is 11. We've got a lot of folks that use that as a gateway for their kids. When they turn 11, it's kind of a rite of passage for some of them to have their kids be able to come to the event for the first time. And we see that a lot in the field to table classes. People are wanting to hunt to put food on the table, and they want to know where their food comes from, and they want to know how it's been handled. And that's a lot of what we talk about in the field to table, and enable people to have those skills to do it and to understand how to do it safely and get the most out of what they want. It gives us the opportunity to reinforce the ethical principles of using as much of the game as you can, and being respectful of the game. And it's surprising how popular that class has been. And the resounding comment from most people is that I want to know where my food comes from, and I want to know how it's been handled. And I think that is a change from what the reasoning was 20 years ago.
Well, we've gotten that same comment in some of them field freezer classes that we put on, Jason. That one family actually said, hey, we don't want to hunt we just want to see how this is done, and we want to know where this meat comes from. So
Yeah, so we all of us here, we're all avid hunters, we're all avid outdoorsmen, and we all love to eat. And we're wanting to reach new hunters, and we want to share our skills with them, and we got to remember, and I've got to do this myself. We got to remember they're not hunting necessarily for the same reasons we are. And I'm going to tread on that lightly. I'm not saying we don't do it because we don't eat it, because we do. And, we do it for a lot of reasons. For myself personally, it's spiritual. It's a place where, when I'm hunting, it's a place where I feel alive. And yes, I want to utilize the meat and enjoy it. But again, I think a lot of our new hunters coming in, it's not a heritage. It's not a tradition. There's a purpose, and that purpose is to bag game and provide for their families. I mean, that's just my take on it.
So you guys have been in the hunter's education for quite a few years, and you've seen that. So let's take that, what you're saying, Jason, a step further. As you're doing this hunter's education, and I know the few classes that I've seen families come in and want to do it together. Okay. But how many have you noticed are doing it to actually, to feed the family? To do like what you're saying, Jason, where, we're doing this because we want to, quote, save money, because you're not really saving money. But you gotta put money in the freezer.
Yeah, you gotta for a basic hunter ed class. That's a totally different. What I'm more talking about is, that's a requirement for a young boy or a girl to get a hunting license. They've got to take that class. What I'm referring to is, these workshops that are put on. Mike's next level bow hunt workshop. I'm almost guaranteeing you that age range is going to be early 20s to early 40s. And these men and women, it's not solely to put food on the family, every meal. It's a help me out, Wendy, but it's a piece. They're growing gardens. They are trying to get organic foods, and I think that's where the hunting piece is coming in. Just like
almost like they want a homestead kind of deal.
Yeah.
So
that's kind of the take that I'm getting. But I wanted to feel you all out to kind of see if that's kind of the same vibe that you're getting from some of the new hunters that we come in contact with.
Yeah.
Well, Mike, you just did that next level hunt. What was some of the reasons why those folks did it?
Most of those guys, of course, for those who don't know, we do a program. It's called the Next Level Bow Hunt. We bring in new hunters that are new bow hunters that have their own equipment. They have their own bow. They have their own, either a climber or ground blind. And we bring them in on a Friday night, give them about 4 hours of instruction. And what that's included in is we talk a little bit about shot placement, a little bit about tracking and that. We actually do a mock blood trail at night, which is very realistic as a bow hunter. And then we check their equipment the next day, have them shoot from an elevated position just to make sure they know how to shoot, that kind of stuff, and their equipment's functional. And then we actually take them out, scout that afternoon, and go hunt that evening. If one of them harvests something, then we do a processing class on Sunday morning. This year we had 12 hunters, and all 12 saw deer as part of the urban archery program down at Triple R Ranch in Chesapeake. And then we had 2 actually got shots on deer, and we actually had 1 draw blood. Now, unfortunately, it was a brisket hit. It looked like to me. I mean, there was some blood, but it stopped pretty quick, and we looked, quite a while and didn't pick up any. And as a matter of fact, one of my other instructors who was doing some saddle hunting saw that same deer and said that the deer was okay. So, it was kind of one of those things. But I get a lot of guys that when they come to that class, they're in it basically, one, because they can get out early season and late season as bow hunters for urban archery, because there's a wealth of, or a plethora of places you can go around the state for urban archery. There's like 50 some odd cities participating in this. And so the guys that I get, primarily younger guys, but they get into it because, one, they want to provide for their families, but they enjoy getting out. They like the early season, and they come to that program just to kind of get some tips and tactics. Because what we do is I pair them up with an experienced bow hunter. So each guy gets an experienced bow hunter or 2 to go out, and that bow hunter will show them, how to scout, what to look for, where to place their stand, that kind of stuff. So it's kind of like a mini mentorship program, if you will, which is kind of a neat way, because all of us at DWR, for those that don't know, also has a mentorship program. So you don't have to be a bow hunter to be involved in the mentorship program. I'm mentoring 2 folks now. So, you can get involved. Hunter ed instructors all over the state are part of that program. So if you're a new hunter and you don't have anywhere, go check into the mentorship program and see if you can get paired up with a mentor. So,
yeah. So, I think, the new hunters, they're looking for skills. They're looking for those techniques, those hunting skills. But they're also looking for, how to take care, how to process it, how to prepare it, how to cook it. And so I know Bob and I are going to be leaning on Wendy at some point for some, for that side of it. And I think that's, look at the processing classes that we do across the state. They fill up and quickly if we are able to get deer for those workshops. So I think, as far as us wanting to share our skills with new hunters, we got to remember, they're probably starting to hunt for a different reason than what we hunt. We're going to continue to try to give them those skills, but we're going to try to give them, that game care and that food preparation that is really drawing a lot of these new hunters in. So, with that said,
well, that's great you mentioned that too, Jason, because for example, Hunter Skills Weekend. That started out with a single mom, coming to some of us and saying, "Hey, my son wants to learn how to hunt. I can't teach him. How do we do that?" And then look, and Wendy will tell you, from where we are, from where skills started to, where we had a few participants, we've maxed out, and we've actually increased it up, Wendy, to 100 now? They're coming this next session.
Yep.
And we've added classes.
We're up from,
yeah, go ahead.
We're up from 88 to 100. We've got 25 classes in 3 time slots. So that's a lot of action, a lot of activity, a lot of opportunity, because most of the workshops, most of the classes are at the most 15 students per class. So it's really small student to instructor ratio. And one of the ones that fills up quickly, aside from the field to table, is the wild game cooking. And having been an instructor in that one for quite a while, it's surprising to me, going back to what you were talking about, Jason, with people wanting to provide their own and prepare their own foods, how many people come into that class and they say, well, I really never have cooked deer meat, or I never have cooked goose meat. I want to know where to start. I know nothing about how to handle the meat. And so they're not coming in with any experience. It's a clean slate. And they have a lot of misconceptions about what the meat is like and how hard it is to cook. And it's fun for me to be able to give them a sense of relief that it's really not as hard as they think it is. And there's a lot that you can do with it. So that was surprising to me. They haven't tried it, but they're ready and willing to. So the interest is there, the desire is there. We're just fortunate that we can help them go full circle with it. We can teach them the good fundamentals and connect them with people who can teach them how to go out safely to harvest it. But we can also tell them how to enjoy it as a family at the end of the process. So
absolutely,
seeing that growth and that development with folks, and then even more so when we get somebody that's like that, and then they say, "Hey, I want to be an instructor." And we've got a couple of those, a couple of the folks that we saw start and work through it, and then come back around and say, "Well, that was really cool. I learned a lot. Now I want to do it." And so that's the most rewarding part about it, is seeing people come full circle.
And that's why we do what we do. We enjoy the outdoors so much that we want to, share those skills and those techniques so other people can get the joy and the camaraderie, the experiences, the food. What we got? 5 minutes left, Bob?
Yeah, 5 minutes.
So, hey, with that said, let's, I'm going to share, some of my favorite wild game, and I'm not going to talk about recipes, but, for some of those new hunters that are going to watch this and look at us, experienced hunters talk about, our skills, but some of my favorite game to eat is, obviously deer. But one that a lot of people don't think of too often is, and that's the black bear.
Bear meat.
See, I've never had bear.
Those two right there are some of my favorite meats. Those are two of my favorite. I enjoy squirrel and I enjoy dove and all the other birds. I can't leave out the spring gobbler that is knocking on our door. But probably, some of the deer recipes and the bear recipes are some of my favorites. So what's some of your alls?
Yeah, I'm with you, Jason. I like bear meat. I like elk meat, deer meat, squirrel, rabbit, and now pheasant and chucker.
There you go.
Wendy, what's yours?
There you go.
Jason, when you start getting some geese this coming fall, we'll talk geese because goose meat is one of my more favorites, and I do a lot. It's a very versatile meat, and venison. I don't have an opportunity to get much fish, but some of the wild fish that I've had an opportunity to either get myself or be gifted some of is also it's great table fare.
Yep.
That cobia dip was awesome this weekend.
Well, I've had some of her goose because Brian shared some of his, and he said it was Wendy's recipe or something like that. So I've had some of that. It's very good.
Actually, I told a fib, Jason. My favorite is anything Wendy posts on the Facebook.
Yeah,
there you go.
Because it all looks good.
Really good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So, Bob,
mine,
what's some of your favorite?
mine is deer, elk, and I just really like squirrel. I just like squirrel that's been grilled.
There you
I
go.
don't. It's a simple animal, but I don't know. I like it.
There you go.
But yeah, we only got a 2 minutes here, so let's go ahead and sign off. I got to tell you guys, I really appreciate you guys taking the time and doing this with us, and hopefully we can do this on a regular basis. Just do these little campfires like this.
The next campfire, we'll talk about some of our experiences, maybe not so much about what our goal and mission is here with this YouTube channel.
Some fun
But
hunts.
I'm looking forward to hearing some stories. That's what I'm hearing.
Look, I got a couple on Jason now, so I'm good.
So let's go ahead and sign off. And just to let you guys know, we sign off just in our own way of wishing people well, to get out in the outdoors and enjoy it. So yeah. So thank you for being with us, and everybody that's watching, get out in the outdoors and enjoy that beautiful land that we have.
Awesome.
Absolutely. And like I always say, just don't worry about the details. Just go hunting. Enjoy it.
Have
Mike,
bow will
you
travel.
got anything?
For having me.
Yeah. Thanks again, guys. Appreciate it.
All right.
No problem.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Please subscribe, like, and leave a comment. Thank you.